Hello everybody, my name is Shelter2.5 and welcome back to Chapter 2 of Dragon Ball Super What If, Haru of the Stars. Last time we had the defeat of Frieza and Vegeta, and then Trunks came from the future to remind us that in 3 years from now, two androids are going to be attacking. So today we're going to be covering the Android Saga all the way to the end of the Cell Games Saga. So without any further ado, let's begin Chapter 2 of Haru's story. 3 years have passed since the training session, and on May 12th, the crew arrives on the wait for the androids. And of course, like the manga and anime series, the two androids that do appear are Android 19 and Android 20. As the fight continued, well, of course, Yamcha got stabbed and literally got the coup de grace by Dr. Gero, and of course they were sent away. But once Goku's fight with Android 19 went along, something happened. Yes, Goku does indeed get the heart virus, but there is a little something. When Goku did get the heart virus, Haru remembered a little something. Remember, there were going to be a couple of changes. Haru did bring, in fact, Chi-Chi told Haru on the way to Goku's, be sure to bring Goku's heart virus medicine, because although Chi-Chi can be hard on Goku, she still worries about him too much to the point where she doesn't literally want him to go, at least not until Gohan gets his graduation, or, yeah. But, that's Chi-Chi. That's being a good wife right there. But just before they can send the medicine over, Gero fires an eye beam from his eyes, and luckily Piccolo got in the way. We presume that he might be dead, but no, he's going to get up after that. But as Goku was pinned down to the ground and having his energy stealed by Android 19, a kick to the face was brought to Android 19 as Vegeta shown up, and of course he passes Goku to Yamcha with his foot, and so Yamcha takes Goku away, and we never see Yamcha again. So then, Vegeta then becomes Super Saiyan and easily takes care of Android 19, but this makes Android 20, who is now revealed to be Dr. Gero, flees away. And so, Vegeta, Gohan, Krillin, Tien, and Haru now follow after Dr. Gero, and Piccolo was the lucky contender to find him, only to get him down. But of course, Android 20, or Dr. Gero, reminds our heroes that Androids 17 and 18 will destroy them all. That was when Trunks came along, and of course the appearance of Bulma and Yajirobe in the car. Dr. Gero obviously destroys the car like he does in the manga and anime. Bulma and Yajirobe and Baby Trunks get saved, and of course they go off to find the androids. But another thing I like to say here, and this is very important, Gohan takes Bulma and Yajirobe back, and Haru was left with the rest of the gang. Meanwhile, androids 17 and 18 have been awoken, and as the heroes arrive, Dr. Gero was given the decapitation he deserves. Rest in peace, my fellow doctor. Enraged by the fact that there was yet another android that he didn't know about, Trunks destroyed the lab, and then Android 16 was awoken, like in the manga and anime series. Vegeta, Trunks, Tien, and Piccolo take on these androids from 17 to 17, 18, while 16 was distracted at a couple of birds, because he loves nature too much. However, they were all defeated entirely, which of course leave Vegeta and Piccolo angry and left off in a huff. But just before that, Haru and Krillin beg the androids not to kill anyone, and they refuse, and 18 gives Krillin a kiss. And basically, after kissing Krillin, after witnessing this, Haru asks, why? Why do that? And 17, of all people, replies with a little snarky, we're sparing you, you dummy. And then the androids flew away up to Goku's house. When the news of a second time machine hit our heroes, and this was after the little skirmish with the androids, Trunks, Haru, and Gohan head to the scene where Bulma was at with the second time machine. The time machine, as you know, was the same as Trunks. It had the initials Hope on the side of its engines. But who sent it there? After the search, Haru and the others went back to Kame's house, and of course she realizes it was empty. And she was like, why? Why is it empty? And basically Master Roshi was like, there was apparently some shindig going on in Ginger Town. Don't worry, they'll be back. And that's where Cell is approaching, so stay tuned. Haru and Launch were left behind to look after Goku as he recovers alongside Chi-Chi. After Goku recovers, he teleports to the Z-Fighters and tells them news of the hyperbolic time chamber. And of course he takes Haru with him because, it makes sense. Haru's done a lot for Goku, especially after helping his son train, so It makes sense. Yeah, no, no worries about that. But fast forwarding forward to the fight between Piccolo and Cell, and this was after the Android 17 fight, as it does. Piccolo was defeated by Cell, and Haru quickly dashed to the rescue. And this is the thing. Android 16, after Android 16 warns 18 and 17 not to fight Cell, 17 was like, there's no way I'm gonna let this guy absorb me. Let him fight for all he wants, I don't care, I'll put him out of his misery. And as soon as Cell appeared behind him, it was over. 17 had his guard down, but luckily enough, someone came along and literally drop-kicked Cell in the back, disturbing the absorption of 17. So Haru prevented Android 17 from being absorbed, which is totally different than the manga and anime, but I did say there was going to be a couple of differences. But yeah, there you go, that's your first difference. So, with this difference at hand, Cell remains in his first form throughout the fights of Tien and Vegeta. So, of course, Tien does get, like, a lot of damage than he did in his semi-perfect form. Well, in hiding of Cell, 17 questions, why? Why would she do that? To which Haru would reply, I saved you, dummy. 17 was shocked and gave a little smile. Now, this is what I find cute about this change. Is now, Haru and 17 have made a connection like Krillin has with 18. Speaking of Krillin, he arrives on the scene and 18 knows the remote. And 17 looks at this too and he's like, hey, what are you doing, you little runt? And then Krillin, of course, smashes the remote and asks 17 and 18 to get out of here before Cell absorbs them. And now here's the thing where Vegeta's pride gets a little too out of hand. Vegeta finds Cell way too easy in his first form, which annoys Trunks. He's like, why doesn't he just end him now? And then, of course, like the manga and anime series, Vegeta allows Cell to absorb both the androids because he's like, so this is your first form? How pitiful. Go and absorb those two by all means. And because of that, Trunks then snaps Vegeta some sense into him, but he fails, unfortunately. But however, before he could do anything, it was too late. Haru, Krillin, the androids, Vegeta and Trunks are now blinded by Cell's solar flare, allowing him to absorb not just 17, but 18 as well, unleashing his perfect form. However, Haru was knocked out cold from Cell alongside Krillin, but then, while Vegeta and Trunks' fight goes on, and the announcement of the Cell games goes on, Haru wakes up at the lookout into the sight of something new, something grand, the sight of Super Saiyan Gohan and Goku leaving the time chamber. Haru was very shocked and quite moved, for she hasn't seen Gohan as a Super Saiyan before, and all she could do was just go over and just give Gohan a friendly handshake. Gohan handshakes back. Of course, then she's then informed that the Cell games were announced by Cell, and then shortly after that, Piccolo asked Haru if it was okay to join him in the hyperbolic time chamber. She, of course, accepts. So, in this timeline, Piccolo is not alone in the time chamber, for he does have a reason to be in there now because of Haru. After they finished, Haru flew back to launch, and who was finished with her shift in terms of her job. And then one day after that, within the days of the Cell games, Goku, Gohan, Chi-Chi, and Krillin, along with Haru and Launch, had a nice little picnic, which of course they obviously went along with them. So Goku, funnily enough, asks to Launch, "Hey Launch, you know Haru is your daughter, right? Where did he come from?" And Launch gladly accepts that she just found her in a forest as if she came from the stars, saying, "Isn't that where babies come from? I have no idea." And this leaves Goku and Chi-Chi completely confused, which of course is another comedy element. But luckily enough, that subject was changed because it was Gohan's birthday. Happy birthday, Gohan. The day of the Cell games had arrived, and Haru said her goodbyes to Launch, and she set off with the other Z-Fighters to the arena. The Z-Fighters, along with Android 16 and herself, arrive at the arena for the final battle, as Mr. Satan was blown away for Goku versus Cell. Poor Hercule. He never gets a break, especially in these what-ifs. Hashtag poor Mr. Hercule Satan. Yeah. So, shortly after the fight happens with Goku versus Cell, Haru notices that Goku seems to be a little different when he's fighting him today. That's weird. And then after that, Goku gives up and gives his battle over to Gohan. And Cell's like, Gohan? Goku, of all the best times to pass on the fight to, you choose your weakling son? It cracks me up, but yet again, I'm always welcome to a challenge, even though he's weak. And then, of course, Gohan fights Cell with all his might, but Cell realizes Gohan's power after he explains it, and he's like, do you really think that little story you just told me would make me afraid of you? It hasn't. It's only made me more eager to get that power out of your tiny little body. And then Cell unleashed not 6 Cell Juniors, but 7 Cell Juniors, of course, because Haru was there as well. And this made Gohan angry, as he did in the manga and anime series. And of course, after the pep talk when Andrew's 16 unfortunately dies, but then Gohan, having enough of all the anger that's swelling up inside his body, he goes Super Saiyan 2 and overpowers Cell. To the point where he makes Cell vomit out Android 18, reverting him into his semi-perfect form. As in, this is the first time we will see his semi-perfect form in this timeline. Cell, of course, tries to blow himself up, but like in the original, Goku teleports to King Kai's planet and unfortunately exploded along with the planet. Rest in peace, King Kai and Goku. Gohan was left devastated and alone. But then Haru and Krillin were able to comfort him in his time of need. And Gohan will remember this, now and forever. Suddenly, Trunks died, and someone came back, even more powerful than ever before. That's right, my friends. Cell is back. As the fight ensued, Gohan and Cell then clashed their Kamehameha waves, and it all looked like it all was lost. Until both Vegeta and Haru were able to help out Gohan in order to save the day. With one mighty roar, Gohan destroyed Cell, and the Earth was safe once again. After that, everyone went back to the lookout. Everyone except Goku was revived with the Dragon Balls, and Mr. Satan was known as the world's hero. And like in the original, Tien does leave, but this time, Tien says a little bit of words to Haru. Yes, now, the thing is that Tien Shinhan did have a little bit of a thing going on with Launch, and since it never was like fully blossomed in the original manga and anime, it just never happened. But Tien looked at Haru and said, take care of Launch for me, okay? And after that heartfelt speech, the Z-Fighters returned to their families. Bulma was given Cell's time machine, and Trunks returned to his timeline, ready for a peaceful timeline. 7 years have now passed since the battle with Cell, and Haru and Launch now have jobs as truck drivers for delivery purposes. Goten was born, and Gohan went to high school. And even Krillin got himself a wife, which happens to be Android 18. And Android 17 also became a Park Ranger too. And a peaceful life had begun. Or so we thought, for the threat of Majin Buu is close. So, after making a delivery at Capsule Corp, Haru hears about news of the 27th World Martial Arts Tournament, and even Goku... Actually, hang on, 25th. Yeah, it's the 25th. Whatever. So he hears about the World Tournament, and she also hears that Goku is joining too. Now, I like to make note that Haru has now blossomed into a beautiful teenage girl that is now helping out her mother, and hearing the news of Goku brings much delight to her. Later on, Haru asked Launch about the tournament, and Launch actually didn't mind, because she's used to Haru like fighting interdimensional beings as long as she's home by dinner, and she's used to the fact that Haru's power is now catching up with Gohan and Goku and Vegeta, which of course, even surprised Chi-Chi too, but I mean, yeah, again, Launch has the power over Haru, so I wouldn't worry too much. So, but this Launch didn't mind this fact, because she too would love the chance to see Goku again. After all, those two have a long history, and so Haru trained for the next few days until the tournament arrived. After that, Goku was reunited with his family and friends, just like in the original, and he was introduced to little Goten. So adorable. So Haru was also introduced to the daughter of Mr. Satan, thanks to Gohan. He introduced her to the daughter of Mr. Satan herself, Videl. But then, shortly after, one of the contestants at the tournament, Jewel, harasses Haru, and basically, uncomfortable by this, Videl has had enough of his poor little games and knocks him out cold. With that reason, Jewel is out of the tournament and Haru now fills his space in. Poor Jewel. The guy never gets a break, not even with Android 18 in the original. That's too sad. So, after the third match of the tournament was over, it was now, as it happens, normal. The tournament was normal. So, it happens all the way to the Gohan versus Kibito fight, where the contestants Yamu and Spopovich jump into the fight and steal Gohan's energy for their master Babidi. They then flew off to his spaceship, and of course, as in the original, one of the fighters, Shin, reveals that he is the Supreme Kai of Universe 7 and tells our heroes that Babidi is planning something evil to unleash the threat of Majin Buu. He, along with the Z-Fighters, fly off with Haru following them. And with that, that is the end of Chapter 2. So, will Haru, Goku and his friends be able to stop the threat of Majin Buu? And what other changes will we see upon the horizon? Well, all that will be said next time on Dragon Ball Super What If, Haru of the Stars. Next time, it will be the threat of Majin Buu. Till then, ta-ta!